take it from me, as tempting as it may be to try to fly a Cheeto into your mouth hanging from one of these, don't do it. Ow! Hey everybody, I'm John, and I finally got my Headplay goggles. I only pre-ordered them in June, so let's see if they were worth the wait. So I had heard a good deal of pros and cons about these, and after a little use myself, I have mixed feelings about them too. I've been using an older pair of Fatshark Predator V2s for a while now, and I've gotten used to them, but they're not the best goggles by far. They're functional, but they were affordable in comparison to other goggles. Knowing they're not the highest resolution and struggling with not seeing the occasional obstacle before it was too late, such as a low-hanging branch or thin PVC gator pole, I had planned on upgrading something better. With these being around the same price as these, the low-end Fatshark goggle versus, their pair of Headplays, I figured they'd be worth trying out. There are other DIY options out there, but I wanted to step up from my Predators. So let's take a look. So first, the display inside these goggles is huge and very high resolution. It really emphasizes the low quality of the FPV cameras we fly with. The Fatshark goggles have much smaller screens in them, and so with a lower resolution image, it's not as obvious in a smaller screen. With the giant screen in these, the blurry analog SD image is right up in your face, and the quality of the FPV camera we fly with is much more obvious. My first impressions putting these on was, whoa, that screen is huge, and I have to look way up, down, left, or right to see the side of the screen. I tried to fly my little Nano around the house, and I failed miserably. So I switched out the Fresnel lens in the goggles to the 330mm lens that comes packaged with the goggles, and it made it so much better. The screen is still huge, but I found it much more manageable transitioning from another pair of goggles. I also went into the menu and I made a few adjustments to the image. I turned the contrast down to 30 and the sharpness way down to around 10 because I found the screen would overemphasize the edges of static and the imperfections in the video signal to make it much harder to make out detail. I turned off the dynamic noise reduction, the DNR, because it tries to remove the static in the image and it makes things just look blurry to me. Lastly, I changed the picture scale to 4:3 because that's the ratio our FPV cameras use, and 16:9 only distorts and squishes the image. So now I'm really happy with the display. The goggles have an HDMI input, which is really nice to use when watching movies and not disturbing anyone else in the room. But one of my favorite things to do now with them is to plug them into the HDMI port on my computer and play simulators like FPV Freerider to add that extra level of realism to the experience. I hope to try them out with a Lightbridge or Connex HD downlink system in the future, but I don't have access to either right now. The goggles ship with a 1300 mAh2S butterfly-shaped battery, and it lasts around an hour on a full charge. Unlike the Fatsharks, which seem to last at least 3 times that, if not more. The Fatshark batteries and the batteries that come packaged with the Headplays are interchangeable, so it will work with either if you happen to have extras. It also does not have a low voltage alarm, which is a real downer and a real pain to be flying around and your goggles just shut off without warning when they run out of power. You can easily attach a low voltage alarm to the battery, but make sure if you do, you baffle the buzzers on them because this thing is loud, and being attached to your head, it's just as startling and crash-inducing as the goggles shutting off mid-flight. I crammed some pieces of foam and added a few layers of electrical tape to the buzzers to quiet mine down. So I really love my Immersion RC 8 dBi circularly polarized patch antenna. It's not nearly as directional as you might think it is, and I've actually flown behind myself with the antenna pointing away from the craft with a little bit of breakup. But the extra distance it gives when pointing the antenna at the craft is really, really nice. And another benefit is that since I naturally fly with my head facing a bit down with these goggles, the antenna faces up and out nicely. So the real issue with these goggles is they just look ridiculous in my opinion. They're really huge and goofy, and to fix this issue, I put these super cool googly eyes on the front of them, and now they're a big hit with the ladies. Hey ladies. These goggles are clearly a first generation product. They're far from perfect, and I've had quite a few glitches and confusing moments with them in the short time of owning them. Unlike the Fatsharks, which power up immediately, there's about a 6 to 7 second delay till the image displays on the screen after you plug it in. And I've had an occasion where the band would change either by itself or by accident. And the channel is so close that you sometimes can get some really weird looking colors and interference that can fool you into think you have a camera or VTX problem. So always check your band when you plug it in and turn it on. You change the band with a long press of this button, and you change the channel with a short press. Once or twice, actually, when powering on, I noticed the video receiver portion did not power on and on the top of the goggles, but the screen powered up. And the video receiver's channel did not light up, and nothing displayed on the screen. Power cycling a couple times fixed this, but it was concerning, and it may be possible I received a defective unit. So if you have one of these and have or haven't experienced any of these issues after some use, let me know. It would be great to hear other users' experiences. Having used them for a few weeks now and experimenting with going back and forth to my older Fatshark goggles, I actually prefer the Headplays now, and I didn't think I would at first. The extra resolution is pretty nice to see just a little bit more, and being able to concentrate on a smaller central part of the image with the edges in your peripherals have, I think improved some aspects of my flying. And with the larger screen, I feel like I might actually have better reaction time now. So I wanted to sincerely thank you for watching. I've received some really great feedback in my earlier videos, and I wanted to say thanks for the encouragement. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to show your support. It really helps me out. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.